So, hello everyone. So, welcome to our Smart City course again. So, we are going to discuss today on the objective 5 of the first week, where we will be discussing about the Indian issues, or how the Smart City mission has been started by the government of India, what was its vision and the targets, something like that. So, if you see that to promote the sustainability or inclusive and climate centric urban development, for the growing population, by leveraging technology, data driven governance and improved urban infrastructure, so that the cities become more livable, and because a lot of sustainability aspects have been taken with respect to pollution, waste, etc., and they are efficient and also economically vibrant. So with all these issues, the mission is aiming to enhance the quality of life. That is the first thing in entire smart city mission, and it strengthens the urban resilience for any kind of disasters like urban flooding or earthquakes or something like that, and then it can improve the governance and also service deliverability, rather than taking lot of time, it can act immediately when you have a digital governance, etc., or smart governance, and then foster the innovation and economic growth. Because innovations and economy, they are very much linked up. So this was actually the mission with which government of India has started smart city mission. So this has been launched in 2015, almost 10 years back, and launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So initial first phase, the mission was between 2015 to 2023. Where 100 cities were selected, and today we explore India's most ambitious urban development initiatives this through this smart city mission. After launching this in 2015, a lot of Indian urban population, we know that is almost 31% of the total, with an annual growth rate was very high relatively to the other parts of the world, which is almost 2.43%. And then cities are contributing a lot of percentage, 63% around, to our GDP, so which is going to be projected to almost 75% by 2030, which is in 5 years from now. So there's a massive urbanization. It requires a systemic transformation of this urban governance and service deliverability, and also this represents one of the world's largest smart city mission, we can say, because our smart city initiatives, which would demonstrate how developing countries can leapfrog to advanced urban technologies. So over the next 1 hour, we will be discussing on this aspect. We will examine what was the mission with which it started, what were the objectives, what are the implementation policies and the models, and what kind of infrastructure requirements are required and how it has been developed, because that is most of our course focus, and then technology components, and what were the real world success stories which we also discussed little bit in the last class. So we will continue in more with respect to Indian smart cities. Then understanding this mission is very, very crucial for for us as a for all the future engineers and also for urban planners shaping our Indian urban landscape. So next one, if you see here, the mission, as I said, it is to promote cities that provide core infrastructure, clean and sustainable environment, and quality of life through applications of smart solutions using IoT, real-time sensors, and etc. So 5 core objectives guide this mission. First is economic growth. So where economic growth drives local economic development, and it also creates lot of employment opportunities. Second, quality of life. So it improves urban services, infrastructure for better living standards. Third is technology integration. How can you integrate harness this technology for smart outcomes and efficient service deliverability? Fourth is sustainability. Sustainability promotes not just sustainable and inclusive development practices. See, if you see sustainability from civil engineering perspective, so you have to think from materials and analysis and design aspects also, everything we have to build our infrastructure in such a thinking all from starting from materials. The fifth one is like citizen participation. We discussed a lot about what is the effect of citizen participation generally, especially in this kind of cases with the case study from Barcelona, and which enables like citizen involvement in decision making and also very close community engagement. So strategic goals include infrastructure development, providing adequate water, electricity, sanitation, mobility, and of course mass housing as well. So digital governance, it enables e-governance, citizen service through technology, and environmental sustainability promotes green buildings, renewable energy, waste management, and then economic competitiveness between the states or between the cities. It can create business friendly environment and innovation ecosystems. And then the social media ensures benefits reach all sections of the people. We know how strong or deeper this is these days, so including the poor people, and these objectives are highly interconnected if you see, and we cannot achieve just one independently. So success requires addressing all these things in almost all the dimensions equally. So cities there, we might have seen in the news also, for suppose Indore got cleanest city, okay, for the last 8th time. So there is some kind of cities are competing for the smart city mission status, right? And then there is a evaluation. There is a committee who do this evaluation. It's a rigorous evaluation, and the selection procedure distributes like 100 points, okay, so across the different 3 areas, key areas as you see here, to assess readiness, capacity, and innovation. So we will discuss like how this evaluation is also going by from the Government of India. So the evaluation considers existing infrastructure and institutional capacity, citizen participation, readiness, and proposed solutions. So cities, they develop different smart city proposals outlining their transformation mission, and if you see here, like as I said, 3 different marking schemes. So like profile, city profile, area based development points, and pan city solutions. So we will discuss little more on that. So this process is like it emphasizes transparency, like all evaluation scores are public, and then competition among cities, they created like beneficial dynamics, like they invested in planning even before official selection, because the competition itself promoted smart city thinking. So different rounds, they prioritize different criteria, like early round emphasize infrastructure readiness, and then later rounds emphasize innovation and sustainability, etc. So the selection process was not just about choosing the best city, because every city has its own character. It was about encouraging all the cities to think smartly about their development. So like even cities not selected benefited from this process of preparing proposals, and as they implemented their ideas independently, which are considering the local issues or the challenges. So this rigorous process ensured selected cities had a genuine commitment, and of course the realistic plan, not just as an aspiration. So as I said, 100 cities were selected across 4 different rounds of competition, and representing diversity in size, geography, and development stage also. So we know that there was tier 1 cities like metros like Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, and tier 2 Nagpur, Thrissur, etc. And then we also have tier 3 cities like Amravati, Kohima, etc. So geographical distribution also includes all states, all union territories, ensuring we have a proper pan India representation. And then 4th round of selection, where round 1 selected 20 cities, emphasizing large metros, strong institutional capacity. Then second one, round 2 selected 40 more cities, including mixture of metros and tier 2 cities. and then third one has 27 cities basically with the tier 2 and tier 3 combined, and then 4 has 13 cities, okay, which is ensuring the geographical balance to have a proper spread. So this phased approach allowed government to learn from earlier implementation and adjust the guidelines for later rounds. So each city received a lot of money, like around 500 crores central funding for 5 years. Within that, like additional funds from state and some private funding also came in. The 100 cities represent approximately 35% of the India's urban population. So meaning that this mission's impact is like very enormous. So selected cities, they span almost 31 states, 7 union territories, ensuring like geological inclusivity, as I mentioned, the entire pan India part. Let's see the different 3 models. In the model 1, area based development, so 50 to around 100 hectare concentrated smart zones like CBDs, tech parks, Bangalore as an example. We have like Indira area where it's around 87 hectares, Pune's Pimpri region where around 155 hectares. So technology aspects like fiber optic backbone with a very good internet connectivity, then centralized SCADA systems, smart signals like to avoid congestion, and then timeline like 3 to 4 years core infrastructure time has been done. So in the model 2, where retrofitting, upgradation existing neighborhoods and then preserving these communities, etc., smart metering, LED retrofits, and then IoT integration, so that was also been considered. And then third one, like pan city solutions, like in the pan city solutions, integrated citywide systems like traffic management, especially at intersections, smart lighting, poles, and it requires a kind of digital backbone also, and then centralized command centers, AI processors, with a lot of daily data. So all these things were being considered in this developmental approach or the framework. So these were the 3 different models which I was saying that with the sustainable renewable model, integration of with the existing infrastructure, and then community centric as well. So these were the comprehensive urban development approach where it has been considered. And then next one is like as we said, different rounds have been considered, and from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. So this was the different rounds, 4 rounds that has been considered in this 100 cities that has been considered for the first phase. So there are different areas you can see here in the round 4 to have that geographical representation, like Port Blair, other areas, very little far areas, not from the main region. So those things were being considered in the first round. You can see here mix of tier 1 cities with some heritage or some sort of tourist attractive places. So those 2 things were combined, especially if you see like Indore, we have a lot of spiritual places also nearby. So they try to identify the cities in such a way that there is a economical growth as well. Then next one is like one second, something I missed it. Okay. So next one is core infrastructure elements. So 18 core infrastructure requirements has been identified in this mission. So ensuring all smart cities provide essential services. So there are like 9 basic services we call as fundamental, like we should have assured electricity supply, like 24/7 power, and especially for some critical infrastructures like schools, hospitals, or like some governance, water systems, etc., and adequate water supply. So for it also ensures like we have safe and sufficient water, especially the potable water, then which is a basic thing for life and economic activity. Then sanitation, it includes like a solid waste management systems preventing environmental degradation, then efficient urban mobility. So for public transport, there was a lot of debate last week like about this air pollution in Delhi. We have seen like that like how to control this urban mobility, because we already have a metro and a lot of public transportation systems are available. So how to improvise the system, etc. A lot of debate is going on around for avoiding this traffic congestion and reducing the air pollution. So affordable housing, especially for low income residents, because in the city we do have like economically like we have, it's a mixture of all kinds of things. So we need to have a affordable housing for the low income residents, which can also ensures very inclusive development, robust IT connectivity for high speed internets and digital infrastructure for all the services. And then good governance includes like citizen participation in decision making and reduces time in taking the decisions. So for e-governance, etc. Sustainable environment, like which features like green buildings, environmental protection, then safety and security. So like especially women safety, children safety, or safety for the elder people. And these are the different 9 smart city solutions, like can be achieved through smart metering, for utilities, rainwater harvesting, smart parking, LED lighting, smart traffic systems, and waste to energy conversion, green buildings, mixed land use, like now people are coming up with using this landfill areas to build, to convert it into some public spaces like parks and all, so that it can be used. And then transit oriented development, etc. So critically, if we see this one, the mission emphasizes integration principles, like all elements must work together as an integrated system, not just as a standalone component, so which improves or created value both for synergic benefit. So pan city solutions, if you look at it, like which implement the smart systems citywide rather than in a limited area. So these are the technology based solutions which provide integrated, coordinated service delivery across the entire city. So key pan city solutions are like here, like we have smart governance platforms which enable like online service delivery, city engagement and data driven decision making, transportation, smart transportation systems. As you see here, like we have real time traffic monitoring, signals, okay, demand responsive transit, or like any violations, that billing, etc. all that. Smart utilities also include smart water systems with a leakage detection, quality monitoring, which we discussed yesterday extensively, and also like waste management starting from collection to recycling, etc. And then like citizen service system, like where like the response, the two-way responses can be taken care from the citizens, so that we can make it more inclusive, more transparent. So integration is where the real transformation happens. Okay, it's not like individual technology, but in how they work together, like everything has to be properly interconnected, and that has to be taken care. So I'll tell you one thing, like you have an expressway, like it has been monitored, like a lot of cameras for speed and all that are there, and even having the number for that traffic signals, right? There is a specific number for these signals. So assuming that all that is existing, for suppose if there is any emergency on the road, like something happened, and there should be a system where it can be detected, and directly somewhere that health system should also be linked with this, like ambulance can come immediately rather than somebody call an ambulance service, etc. So it has to be highly integrated. So all these things, like the pan city solutions require very robust digital infrastructure. So it can be through fiber optic networks, data centers, cloud computing, cyber security systems. So everything has to be properly integrated, then only it will be successful. Otherwise, handling or addressing issues like a piece one will not work. So this is the overall pictorial view of whatever we have been discussing now about the PAN city smart urban solutions. Like, we have to have integrated is a word which I have to emphasize here, digital platforms, and then city-wide infrastructure, and then hubs, smart service hubs. Like, suppose if something happens, there should be kind of call center kind of thing. If something happens, you get a call from the customer care or some service provider saying that, this is happening and please look into this, something like that. So, coming to the financial structure of this particular mission, India Smart City Mission, of course, because we have to develop a lot of infrastructure, both physical and digital infrastructure, a lot of financial commitment is there. So, total allocated money for this mission was around 48,000 crores for 5 years. So, which is a major investment done by Government of India for the transforming this urban centers to be more sustainable and economically viable also. So, funding structure, like, as I said, like central government contributes mostly amount, and each city it receives approximately 500 crores for 5 years, and then state also can contribute, okay, which can supplement this central funding, and then private investments from tech companies, infrastructure developers, okay, some builders and service providers, they are also coming up through CSR, etc. Private public partnership leverage, private capital and efficiency also. So, developing bank financing, development of bank financing through multilateral and national development banks. And then financial sustainability is very, very critical, especially in operations must generate revenue for maintenance and also for upgrades. I know some there was a space that has been created for public to use, like a swimming pool or public sports related activity center. So, for that the small amount has been developed initially, with one of the smart city, and then through maintenance and all, they had some amount or kind of subscription sort of thing, where that residents can take that and then use the facility and pay accordingly, and it has been well maintained also. So it's actually had a two-way advantage. One is creating the facility or the service, giving that service to the public, and the second thing is, like, it also have a self-running model, especially for the finance part. So these kind of phased investments were also one of the approach that has been considered, where, like, the spreads cost from foundational infrastructure, like digital networks, data centers, and then, like, to scaling it up to larger area or expanding that. So financial framework is ambitious, but it's essentially given for the urban scale that we have. I think this is one of the very crucial initiatives that has been taken care. So the same thing which I just mentioned, how the amount has been distributed by the Government of India, like this, like to total 48,000 crores, and mostly central government, and then local, states and private also, there is some amount of money has been invested. Okay, so let's go to the other smart infrastructure technology components and what were the solutions. You can see here the smart infrastructure, it requires integrated technology deployment, and core technology components includes IoT sensors which deploy across some services like water or energy or transportation, and also for the waste systems to collect and in real time process the data, etc. And smart metering enables accurate measurement of these things, either water or energy. I think we discussed a lot about water in the previous lecture. Then smart parking systems they have sensors to guide drivers to available parking, reducing congestion and also saving fuel and emission. Then LED street lighting with adaptive brightness for the ambient lighting conditions, considering that, and which can reduce the energy consumption. And this is actually very huge consumption is happening, like more than 50% is going for to waste, so that can be controlled or taken care. Smart traffic management, it uses real-time monitoring, AI algorithms to optimize the traffic flow and reducing the congestions, especially at the bottlenecks, etc. Then waste to energy, it converts waste into energy, reducing landfill pressure. And then green buildings, they use lot of efficient HVAC system, properly designed, LED lightings, solars or renewable energy, reducing that cost. And mixed land use, which I already explained, so it integrates residential and commercial and recreational area. You might have seen some apartments in some cities, like couple of floors they have this commercial, and then above that it has a residential. This is very common, especially in some metros like Hyderabad, in Bangalore. So the reason is, like it is if you have a mixed land use, like there is a lot of saving also. Those we are creating a facility for the people to access the required services. At the same time, we also reducing the pollution and commuting time for them and all other things, and also generating money. So transit oriented development, it concentrates like high density development around that public transport stations, and data analytics platforms, they process sensor data, identify patterns, and it also do some forecasting and the predictions. So cloud computing infrastructure can provide scalable processing and of course the storage. Cyber security systems, they can protect IoT networks and data from attacks, hackers, etc. And these technologies, they work together. Sensors collect data, cloud process it, and analytics identify the patterns, forecast the scenarios, and then decision can be made. So without this integration, every technology, it has a limited value, so that can be addressed. Same thing, so sensors, smart metering, smart parking, and then LED lighting and traffic systems, so and of course the waste. So digital governance and city services, if you look at it, like it transfers the government services, okay, delivery from standard traditional physical office to basically digital platforms. We know that most of our campuses also are operating the administration in the more digital systems have come up. Then this digital governance framework, it includes online service portals, so where citizens can access the government services 25/7 from anywhere. Then mobile applications, they enable some service access via smartphones, especially to complain there is a water leakage or something is not happening. So particularly it is very important in a developing countries or the city where smartphone penetration exceeds the computer access. And then digital payment systems, which is secured, convenient for everyone to pay the services, which we are doing it, the digital payment service things. Citizen grievance systems, it allows residents to report whatever the problems, and also they can track that whether it's been solved or not. Then open data platforms, it shares a lot of government data with citizens and business, enabling transparency and of course innovation. So these citizen participation portals, either through apps or anything, it enables the specific that residents to vote on some budget allocation also, like if someone is proposing something that can be discussed, or there will be a platform at least to get some inputs from the public, so to take feedbacks on their plans, or participate in governance. Then e-health services, it enables telemedicine, reducing, I think after COVID we understood how important it is, reducing travel burdens. And e-education platforms, we know how education also transformed with online classes, etc. So where people from anywhere across the globe can sit and attend at their home, and these kind of things are improved, and efficiency, and also it reduces administrative overhead, speed processing, and transparency, as I already said, like, a lot of innovation can also come, because open data enables and social enterprise to create, some solutions. Then participation, citizens feel that they are part of some, decision making or the solution, so the lot of accountability or involvement do come. So there is a Pune or Bangalore have shown that digital governance can dramatically improve the citizen satisfaction while reducing the government cost.